Jed MacKay and Alessandro Cappuccio pit Marc against the Hunter's Moon as Dr. Badr lures Moon Knight out into the moonlight by targeting the people the hero protects. Jed MacKay continues his fantastic run on Moon Knight with an issue that is mostly big action thanks to Marc finally tangling with the Hunter's Moon after the villain makes the fight between them personal. It's really been great seeing Marc tackle his new status quo with him running the Midnight Mission and helping shepherd people through the night, and this issue explores the lengths he will go to protect those people, even bloodthirsty vampires, and he has a great moment where he differentiates between the people he protects and vampires, being that being a vampire doesn't mean you're automatically evil. MacKay also explores how Marc doles out this justice and who to, showcasing the characters' ideologies of right and wrong, which was really neat to put into words and into art. Alessandro Cappuccio captures Jed's take on Marc's ideology with fantastic visuals and an absolutely brutal battle between Moon Knight and Badr, really finding Marc's inner rage against KHONSHU and his goon and painting it in fantastic fast-paced fashion. Moon Knight issue 3 was a brilliant action-packed issue that took a closer look at Marc Spector's ideals and how he puts them to work on the bad guy, culminating in a brutal, no-holds-barred piece of character development. I'm going to give this issue a 9 out of 10. Moon Knight issue 3 finds Marc telling Andrea Sturman about the enemy of his, but Andrea thinks that with what he does, he should have many enemies. Marc knows it's fewer than she might think since only a few of his enemies have survived, at least in his more interesting periods they didn't. He tells her about the Leonard Hawley incident and how he was being used to break him, and Marc finds himself not liking people moving against him behind the scenes. Andrea knows that he talked about various forces plotting against him in the past, remembering him calling them a committee and how Elsa Walsam was involved with them. Andrea wonders if that's why he called, since maybe he thinks that she is part of this enemy group. Marc, however, fears that he is actually part of the enemy, as sometime before, Reese storms into the office, demanding to know why Marc never tried to kill her when he found her, Ted, Shannon, and Ben, since he just killed 2 vampires before finding them, so why did they get a pass? Marc says that the woman made him realize the error of his judgment, and in his new ministry, he protects those who travel at night, and violence and brutality are his tools, and he uses them based on what a person does, not what a person is. And the 2 vampires who turned on Reese and the others were killed because they were kidnappers and murderers, not vampires. He asks if Reese is okay, but she says that someone tried to kill Ted the night before while Marc was out running down a lead, and while Ted got away, he was stuck with about a half a dozen of Moon Knight's crescent darts. She demands to know why he changed his mind, but Marc tells her that he didn't, and what they know and fear aren't the same thing, finding it brave for Reese to come to him with this. Reese knows that they all say nasty things about Moon Knight and what he used to do, but Marc doesn't deny them, knowing he did all those things and more. Knowing he didn't do this though, he takes to the rooftops to run down a lead, activating his comms and learning that Reese and Ted are safe in the mission along with Soldier and Terry. Suddenly, Moon Knight is attacked by the other Moon Knight, asking who this being is meant to be. Badr says that he is the Hunter's Moon, the Fist of KHONSHU, but Marc says that he told Dr. Badr that he is the Fist, throwing a dart at the man and telling him it must be his. The villain blocks the weapon, knowing a man has 2 fists, and how arrogant must Marc be to assume a god, their own god, would only have 1 fist. Marc knows that this is yet another of KHONSHU's secrets, wondering if the man thinks that he can break him since he has no idea what it will take. The villain has no interest in breaking him since he is already broken, and they are colleagues, so his only interest is in correcting him since he's a doctor and he fixes people. As they fight, Moon Knight asks if this is why he sent Hawley to victimize a bunch of senior citizens, all to teach Marc some lessons. Badr doesn't know who he is talking about as Marc smashes him with his baton, demanding the man not lie to him. Badr says that his business is the moon gods and he has no need to attack Marc through proxies. Marc asks if it was him who attacked the people with the crescent darts, and Badr does confirm that he did indeed attack Ted the night before, wanting to get his attention and take Marc's measure. Marc is kicked from the rooftop, told Badr is doing what he is too weak to do, and when the first vampires stalked humanity, they did so at night, KHONSHU's night, and they have always been the sworn enemy of the Fist of KHONSHU, and they have always been their responsibility. Badr isn't happy that Marc is looking after vampires, smashing him down into the alley below, but Marc doesn't stop coming for the villain. Badr asks what is wrong with him, not referring to his his softness for bloodsuckers, but the way he moves, since there is no beauty in the way he fights, as is fitting for a fist of KHONSHU. Marc is shocked. He thinks that there is a beauty in what they do, so Badr says that he fights like an animal, but he should move with the skill and prowess of every fist to ever serve KHONSHU before them, just like he does. He wonders if he has received the gift of the chorus at his ordination, where the memories of KHONSHU's previous fists were put into his mind. Marc thinks that his mind was already too crowded, firing the grapple of his baton into Badr's face, blinding the man briefly as he tells him that all KHONSHU's ever done to him was give him his miserable life back and brain damage and a duty. Marc kicks Badr down, but the man catches his leg, telling the hero that he's far more broken than he thought, but it's okay, since he'll make sure he's fit for duty, planning on removing all of Marc's distractions, since it will be easier that way. At the mission nearby, Terry asks Soldier where he served, but the man tells him to mind his own business as Badr suddenly smashes into the apartment, finding Marc's congregation as he disarms Soldier and Terry, telling Ted and Reese that the congregation requires some thinning, knowing that they have made Moon Knight soft and blinded him to the truths of his duty. Marc, however, returns, picking up one of the bats the men dropped and beating Badr down with it, knowing it's a cute trick that KHONSHU can download dead men's memories into his head, but he never earned it like he did. Marc continues beating down Badr, knowing that he earned it through a lifetime of busted knuckles and broken bones, but at the end of the day, Badr is just a doctor dancing in borrowed shoes, which is why he will always win. Badr thinks that he is a fool, and Marc thinks that he probably is, and more of a fool for letting him live. He leaves Badr with a warning, telling him that the frightened children are there under his protection, no matter what they might be, and he better have what it takes to kill him for good next time, since if he comes back, and he always does, he will kill Badr like they killed Osiris, and they will never find any of his body parts. He drags Badr into the street, telling the Fist to leave and to avoid his attention in the future, otherwise he'll become even more interesting.